Hey guys, my name is Serena, and in this video, one is going to learn how to read music. Now, when people hear that word, that sentence, how to read music, most cringe because of how difficult it is. It can be very difficult depending on your teacher. I know it took me a while to learn, but I thought of making this video and show you how to read music, well, an introduction on how to read music as painlessly as possible. Now, to start off, we're going to start looking at some music. Here we go. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit closer. Now, if you have not been playing music for a number of years, I've been playing for 10 years, this will seem pretty complicated. Pretty complicated. This is something I'm learning for all states, and so far it's not too hard, but this is a good example of what you will see for any kind of music. Of course, I'm going to teach one how to read music on a piano view, how to read. This is for trumpets. So it's going to be, so the notes, everything the same except for the notes. The notes are different from piano. Okay. Now we're going to just jump right into it and learn how to read some music. There's some, there's some keywords and symbols you have to know first before you can read music. Now, if you already know basically what there is to know to read music, this will seem like a review. But if you're a beginner, this will be a great overview and introduction. Okay, first thing you'll see is called a music staff. Now, you know those lines in music, it's like, looks like this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This ones, are called the music staff. Here, I'll just give a little arrow. Music staff. This is, this is gonna haunt you for the rest of your life in your musical journey. Another definition and symbol that's gonna haunt you for the rest of your life is the treble clef and bass clef. You will only see that in like the first measure. Okay. Oh, first of all, I forgot to mention this. When people refer to sections of music of these lines, they refer to it as a measure. So this whole thing is a measure. But do not mistake that with music staff. Music staff is these lines, but the whole thing is called a measure. Okay. Now, to draw, now we're going to go back to bass clef and treble clef. You will see that in the beginning of music. To draw a treble clef, I'm going to show you how to draw a treble clef. You draw 6. Remember 6 in the beginning, and then you get the top, and then you drag it through the middle, and do it like that. Bass clef is really easy. 2 dots. There you go. Basically, to make it easy, smiley face. There we go. The next thing you will see when you're reading music is a bar line. A bar line divides a measure. So like it divides 2 measures or several measures, because music goes on and on and on and on and on. And you need something to divide it, because otherwise it would just be a really huge headache. So this line is called a bar line. Okay, the next thing you will see in the measure music is a double bar line. It looks like this. That is at the end of the song. A double bar line is used to end a song. It indicates the song is over. No more notes. Although there are some exceptions, for instance, when you're changing key, but you don't have to worry about that right now. Okay, the next thing, so basically this is the form. This is where you write music. The next thing you need to do that we're missing is adding notes. Okay. I'm just going to switch to the next page. Now, notes, most people, they think of this boom, like, note is basically a quality of a note you're going to play. Now, before you learn, I call it the music alphabet, you need to learn how long you want to play each note. Now, the first one is the most common one. Beginners learn this when they first learn music. It's called a whole note. A whole note, first I'm going to show you how to draw a whole note. A whole note is an I. Just draw a little circle. And then draw another circle. So basically an oval over oval. Draw an I. And kind of fill this in a little bit. You have to fill it in. Otherwise people will be kind of confused. So think you're drawing an I. This is a whole note. Whole note is worth 4 beats. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a whole note. So a whole note sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a whole note. Okay. The cousin of this, or I should say the sister of a whole note, is a half note. Half note is the same thing, except the I's kind of crooked. So he has like a little bit of a late... Oh, no, that's a bad one. Okay, it's kind of crooked. There you go, like that. That is a half note. Half note is worth 2 beats. That's a half note, so it's worth 1, 2. It's half of this one. It's half. And this one's a whole, so this one equals 1/1. That's half. Okay. The next note, or the next set of these notes you'll see is the little, I call it the baby of these notes. It's not a whole note and it's not a half note, but it's a quarter note. A quarter note's pretty simple. You just draw a circle about the same size, and you just put a little line. Depending on where it is, I just put a little line to indicate that that's a quarter note. Quarter note's worth 1 beat. Pretty simple. So, whole note worth 4 beats. Half note worth 2 beats. And a quarter note is worth 1 beat. Alright, in music, there are other different types of notes. Everything evolves around the half note. I mean the whole note. Everything evolves around the whole note. Everything has to equal 4 beats per measure, depending on the time signature. So it has to equal basically the total thing. Everything has to equal this. I'll explain that in another video. Okay, the next thing you will see is something called a time signature. A time signature relates to notes. To know how many beats are in a measure, or whether this is worth fully a beat, you need the time signature. Time signature, this one's the most common. This is the most common. 4 beats per measure. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this music, there has to be 4 beats per measure. There cannot be 6 beats per measure in this one. There has to be 4 beats and 4, 4. Okay. Now the next thing you have to know when reading music is the music alphabet. Now obviously, hopefully, if you're watching this video, you speak English. In English, we have the alphabet, I don't have to explain it, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. In music, we have what's called, well, I call it, personally, the music alphabet. The music alphabet has maybe 4% or 5% of the alphabet that we use in the English language. So it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now, this is the order the music alphabet is in. Memorize this. If everything else was confusing, this should make sense, because this is the alphabet. So memorize this, know this. Got that. Okay. Now, the last thing we have to do is apply this, everything we just learned, including that one, into one measure, into one measure. So we're gonna apply everything you just learned. Ugh, that's gross. Okay. There you go, that's better. That is way better. Okay. First thing is the music staff. Now, what is the music staff? Those are the 5 lines, right? Yeah, draw 5 lines, just little lines right there. 4 and 5. Has to be 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next thing is to draw a treble clef. Remember, you draw that 6, then you go over here. Now, we're going to draw the bass clef. So I'm just going to explain that. Draw another 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now put 2 little dots here, and then draw a big smiley face, like a smirk. A smirk smiley face. There you go. That's the base card. Now the next thing to add is the time signature. We're going to add 4, 4. So just copy me. 4, 4. Now it has to be after the treble clef and the bass clef. So it has to be after it. It has to be. It's a rule. Okay. The next thing to add is, let's just add a bar line. Let's just do that. Add a bar line, just straight shot, straight shot. Good job. Okay. Now, next thing to add is a double bar line. So let's just put a double bar line here. What does that mean? It means the song is over. Over. Done. No more. Next is, what is this whole section called? It's called a measure. All this. Measure. When people refer to music, go to measure 27. It's the group of sections measure which separates these two. So this whole thing's a measure. Okay. Now the last thing is to add the names of the notes. Like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the music alphabet. Now that is a whole nother video. It's, yeah, that one's gonna be a little bit difficult for beginners, but I'm just gonna write it out so you will see what it is and what it will look like. So I'll just write it out right now so you'll see. I'm just gonna write it out as half notes. No, I'm just going to write a quarter note. So I'm just going to write a quarter note. Gonna put one here. Gonna put one there. Gonna put one in the middle. Gonna put one right there. Gonna put one right there. Gonna put one right there. Put one right there. Put it right there. I'll put one up top here. That is the order of where all the notes go. And that's I'm gonna write it up here. So that's C, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, I'm sorry, that's D, C, B, E, F, G. That's all the names in the notes. Okay, well, that basically concludes our video. Hopefully this is helpful. I will make other videos to follow up on this video, to make more explanations if you're a beginner, or this is a great review for anybody. So, hopefully this video was helpful. And like, subscribe. Please write, if you want, go back in the video and write some notes. All this is very important when you're reading music. So one day you can read stuff like this. Yeah. Okay. We'll see y'all.